Hello, everybody. Welcome to Time Zones and Time Meters. It's Josh and Simon. We are going to be having some fun today, let me tell you. We're going to be looking at Green Carnation's album, their more recent release, and we're going to be sort of checking that out, discussing it, letting you guys know what we thought of it. We'll do a bit of a song by song thing as well. But before we get there, how are you, Simon? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. It's cold in the Netherlands. Are we having two hoodies
Oh
on?
my gosh,
Because
two
yeah,
hoodies. Well, whereas no, I'm
I'm
in a
not really
suit.
this buff.
I'm in
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
Dragon Ball shirt today, so
yeah. In your summer apparel.
hey,
Yeah,
100%. We got storms, I think, at the moment. So there's like lightning and thunder and all sorts of things, but it hasn't rained yet.
we
Um,
got something that is not unusual for the Netherlands, and that is rain.
is
We got
that
like,
like just during this time of the year or what?
I think there's like 300 plus rain days a year in the
Oh,
Netherlands.
really?
It's a wet fucking country.
I didn't know that. What's
Uh,
I thought always thought Sweden was pretty wet.
yeah, but the Netherlands is wetter.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool. There you go. Well, you
Rain
find
to
out
the
something.
Netherlands is what mist is to UK.
Right. I don't think, no, Australia is not known for its rain.
No, 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 you're not for the
I mean,
fires.
it depends on where you are, but yeah, I mean, Northern Territory gets a bit, I think, but we don't. Okay, anyway, so tell us about this band, Simon, and tell us about this album if you can.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, we're talking about Green Carnation, not the flower, because I don't know if carnations can be green, but
Surely.
because usually flowers are not green, you know. Anyway, that's it is a well. They say it's a progressive metal band. I would say it's a metal band that has, you know, made some progressive stuff.
Yeah, I'd say they're
Uh,
prog light. I call them like a prog light. Like
yeah,
there's a
yeah,
few
but it
bands that
also
fall.
depends on what album you listen to, I would say.
Okay.
Um, Formed in 1990, and it kind of started with more death-ish, and it progressed. It changed a lot. It's a very like eclectic band with how they sound. It was formed by the bass player, I believe, who used to be an Emperor, which is like a black metal band. Um, Funny, well, I'll get back to that. His name is Terje Vik Shai. He has quit the band at some point, and now he's back in. But otherwise, I think that mostly the one you think about with this band is the singer, whose name is Chetil. Uh, oh, damn.
Yeah, please tell me how to pronounce this. I'm not
Let's
even
see
gonna
here.
try.
Yeah, Kjetil is his first name, and Nordhus is his last name. Yeah, so for the rest, the current lineup is, except for Terje on bass and Kjetil on vocals, is Stein Roger Sordal on. Oh, he's playing the bass, and Terje is now playing the guitars. Björn Harstad is also playing guitars. Endre Kirkesola. Okay, so he's got some Finnish roots, plays the keyboards, and Jonathan Perez plays the drums. And so this is their new studio album that released in August this year. It's the first of a trilogy called the A Dark Poem Part One, The Shores of Melancholia. Um, yeah, I knew about this band before, mostly because of their second album, Light of Day, Day of Darkness, which is a 1 hour epic song. So that is, of course, super proggy. It
Mm,
is also, I mean, in all ways a proggy album, although it's not um, like Dream Theater proggy. It's not like everything is in, 512 or something. It's more like more on the Floydian side, a little bit
yeah, yeah,
spacey and yeah, it takes its time, so to speak. And this one is a more direct one.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, so I didn't know this band very well at all. I did look up that apparently Green Carnation comes from that like they looked up the literal meaning of carnation, which means like flesh. and green is meant to be like
Oh,
rotting flesh. So I
oh,
think it's got less to
oh,
do with the flower. Because I
oh.
also thought it could have something to do with like Oscar Wilde, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that's behind that, which I'm not going to go down at the moment.
Oh,
Although
so
you
it's
can check it
rotting
out if you're interested,
flesh.
everyone. But I think it's a
Amazing.
rotting flesh kind of thing.
Which, I mean, if you come from like a black metal,
Mm,
you know, death metal, yeah,
yeah,
then that is way
it's
more legit of a
yeah,
name.
and maybe less original than you actually thought. Yeah,
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
but
yeah. I was
but the funny
always
thing is
confused about this name.
I was just going to say I kind of haven't listened to them at all because anything that has the word death or doom in its descriptive text, I haven't really gravitated towards until maybe a bit more recently. And it's only recently that I've sort of looked into bands because I'm trying to challenge these sort of sensibilities a little bit, right? And so I'm sort of looking at them and look, this is a pretty direct album to me. I would never have called, if this was my only experience of listening to them, I wouldn't call them like a progressive rock act or metal act really.
Ah,
However,
well,
I
they get
would
those tendencies. Of course, making an album that is a trilogy is proggy in itself. But
and
that said, metal has taken over so many traits from prog, right?
that's
Like,
right.
I
And they're
mean,
not original
before I
like
knew that prog rock had epics, I knew that metal had epics, you know?
yeah.
So, yeah.
And that's where I was going to go. Is the epic on this track? I think actually is pretty proggy, and they definitely have moments within the album that I go, oh, no, okay, that's not straightforward. And so I kind of think that's their best attribute, funnily enough. If I'm thinking broadly speaking about the like this album specifically, I think it's where there is chopping and changing of pace or timing, where they do decide to mix it up, create some ambiance for those that like um, the posh pronunciation. All of those kinds of things are really, I think, where the band sort of hits their stride at their strongest. Did you have any like first thoughts about the band before we get into the track by track breakdown at all? Like,
About the album, you mean?
yeah, like, or even the band themselves.
Well, I mean, I was excited for this album, so I also checked out other albums leading
Hmm.
up to the release of this, just to, gets pumped.
Yeah.
And I know I listened to the singles as well when they released, and to really appreciate the singles, and that's usually how it is. Like I think singles are okay, but when I hear the album in full, that's when I enjoy it in full. That's
Mm.
just how it works for some reason. Yeah. What about you?
I've learned a little bit similarly, like don't listen to the singles too much before an album properly drops. I kind of will listen to it as a teaser to get a little bit of excitement or whatever. But in this case, I
Mhm.
didn't. So I hadn't heard anything before I did the whole album. And when I
All
did
right.
do the whole album, I thought to myself, like they definitely have a slightly older sound to me, like older metal
Yeah, there's
sort
no
of.
gent or something like that.
Yeah, no, that's right. It doesn't have these sort of modern sensibilities that
No,
we would
it's more
like.
old school metal. Yeah,
Yeah, it definitely has that
or like
quality.
2000s.
Yeah, that's where I'm going. Maybe like late '90s kind of stuff as well, a little bit. But the thing to me that was really interesting is generally they go at their own pace and they own what they do. And I sort of have like this a real appreciation for that in that I don't think they're apologetically like them. I think they're just like, no, we own it. Let's go.
Oh
And
yeah,
and
for
I
sure.
really appreciate that. It's not like they're trying to mix things up or trying to change anything. And so I thought that was quite cool. And I think if somebody was a fan, I mean, I haven't explored their discography a lot to tell you the truth. I've just sort of picked one or two songs. I think this is going to be something they're going to be pretty happy with,
I
unless
think
they're
so too.
after
Yeah.
something that's different. But I mean, I liked it, and I thought some of it hit pretty well. And I'd say it's in the contention for like one of the better albums of the year, if I'm honest, that I've listened to. One of the fresh ones. So give them a
Yeah,
big
it's
thumbs
a
up for that.
very good
Yeah,
album. Yeah.
I think.
Um,
Should we start with the first song, the first track? What do you reckon?
yeah, which is also the first single, In Your
Okay.
Paradise. This is, of course, As Silence Took You, not In Your Paradise. That's this track.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very direct beginning, right? Yeah, it's, a powerful opening.
Mm.
Um, I was very much focused on, get a bit of the theme, of the concept.
Mm,
trying to, I mean, obviously, I mean, the name says a lot, right? With the Shores of Melancholia, that this is it's clearly about mental distress or maybe even disease or something, like how that, I mean, I think the vocals opening this are very powerful.
mm,
Um, when so it opens, a lion could rip the flesh right off your bones, a mother the same, she could do it with six simple words,
mm.
a knife through the heart, I'm so disappointed in you. It's like, okay, so this is where
Yeah, it sets
all
quite
the
the
bad
tone.
stuff is coming from, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm curious a little bit, like yeah, so there's a lot of like depression, self-loathing, that kind of that that goes on as a theme here.
Mm.
And and obviously it's a response to childhood, and that's where this opens. So I think it's pretty, um but on the same time, with like these themes, I'm also thinking that, is this is this one individual that's being followed, or is it just a general theme of melancholia? That's where I'm a bit curious to.
Yeah, I got the feeling that there was a bit of a story that they really are trying to unpack, and they're trying to set the
Right?
tone to start with. I think
Yeah.
just like I think that sort of moody pace, it's like it's a really moody pacing. Like it's slow, it's deliberate. You got the tuned down guitars. But in saying that, like I thought that beginning and the way that it all came through was really quite was really powerful. For me, the lyrics as well really stood out, and especially because I've recently lost somebody, in my family, which is quite sad. There was a line in it. I actually wrote it down. What was it? I never got to say goodbye as silence took you, and like I was like, whoa, like that really resonated with me at this moment. And so I think, like it's obviously talking about death. It's obviously talking about the sort of unexpected death, and then sort of the ramifications of that, or at least that's what I picked up on anyway. I didn't do a deep dive into the lyrics, but it was enough to sort of shake me a little bit too. Um,
Yeah.
I really
Yeah,
like
I
the
mean, I think
sorry.
the opening lines there give is goosebump territory.
Yeah, yeah.
And but yeah, I'm trying. you know I'm not the strongest lyrics
Mm,
analyzer.
yeah.
so, but indeed, so obviously, yes, as silence took you, that is death, right? But
Mm.
um but since it opens with like, is it this person's mother that has been taken by silence, and
Maybe.
then there's there's no closure because of the tainted relationship between them.
Look, I need to have another look over the lyrics myself, but I think it's highly probable just based on what I can remember, like as we're talking as
Yeah.
well. Um, yeah, and I think it's worth doing a bit of a deep dive. I think this album has stirred enough in me lyrically, like the way it's been written, the way it's been done, to make me want to deep dive as well. I don't know about
Yeah.
you, but I've played this through about 10 to 11 times. 10, 11 times. And so that's enough for
Something
me
like
to
that.
start to really sort of grasp the vibe of the album itself. And normally now is where I would start to sort of deep dive into it a bit more, that I've got a good idea of it, and
Hmm.
also an idea on whether or not I want to. Like I tend to give something that's got that quality that many plays before I'll jump into it. But I don't know. Like I think it's got some tempo changes within this track. I really love it when they up the tempo. This is a band that kind of, as they're so deliberate and they're a bit slower and a bit more melancholy.
It's
I
like doom. It's very doomy, this opening.
Yeah, and to me, there's just
To
I
and
just
from.
want it to like open the gates and let go. And so whenever they do a tempo increase for me, I really start to appreciate the tracks. And in this specific one, I thought it was quite good. So look, I'd rate this a really sort of catchy, above sort of average kind of track. It's a great sort of scene setter to start off the album itself. So I'd rate it pretty well. Yeah, and I think the other thing too is it also flows into the next track, In Your Paradise, really well. And so it
Yeah, that one
understands
is more
why.
upbeat. Do do boom boom do do boom boom
Yeah, and I
do do do
like
do.
Yeah, and I like that sort of jump, right? Like I sort of really enjoyed that. So yeah, and I also really like the. Are we okay to move on to the next track?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just going to say I really like the instrumentation within this as well, and I like that. Was it like a wind instrument, like a flute or something like that, that's in there too, that kind of
Yeah.
sits
Yeah.
above it all? I really
Yeah.
enjoyed that. And it reminded me a little bit of some of the stuff we did from our like South American episodes, like earlier on in the year as well,
Yeah, they got
right?
a guest flutist for this track.
Yeah, right.
From yeah.
Yeah, and so that in itself I thought was actually quite cool. And again, like to me, it was the tempo changes and the pace increasing that I thought this was good. So I think this is probably the best track in the album. I thought it was quite strong, or maybe not the best, but it's got the lots of things that really grabbed me, like the drum. There's like a section in the track where the drums are sort of rolling and they're like do 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 do, and then they repeat the same thing over and over and over and over a few times. And I thought that was really quite like cool. It became a centerpiece of the track, and then after that, the drums just took over the track to me. And I'm a big drumming fan. I think and whenever I hear some, I guess that sort of section in the song sort of become the driving element, I usually like take hold of that, and that's something I really enjoy. So I thought that was cool about this as well. Yeah, it sort of took center stage is kind of what I'm getting at, and I thought that was awesome. What were your thoughts on the track?
No, yeah, I think you nailed it. I mean, it's a logical first single. It's very catchy. It's an up-tempo song. Yeah, for sure, for sure. It's what I think I might prefer the second single more. However, good tracks, both of them, good tracks. Um, I'll move on, unless you have something to add about that
No,
track.
no, no, no,
No,
it's all good.
because then you have a break. Then you have
Yeah,
the
the
ballad,
ballad.
so to speak.
Yeah.
The somber, yeah, me, my enemy. So once again, here we go with the self-loathing, right? That I guess you have the childhood trauma
The
from
mother
the
dying or
first,
whatever. Yeah.
yeah, and then yeah, it's like a nice break to like musically. I think it's a nice break to what precedes it. You have almost like the bass line here. I have to think about Marius Duda.
Oh yeah.
It really is like a Riverside kind of bass line. Um, yeah, and yeah, lyrically, indeed, I hear some like self-mutilation kind of uh, topics here. Um, yeah, I still managed to get the timeline of the lyrical content at,
Yeah,
at this point.
look, this is super interesting to me because usually you don't.
No,
And
no,
usually
no,
it's
no.
me on the
This
other
time I
side
did
that's
pay
kind of like,
attention.
what? But yeah, this one's interesting because I definitely think there's some real poetry within this album, which I really
Yeah,
appreciate. Like the lyrical content, I think has some really poetic, like one-liners, but I haven't deep dived enough to really get the story 100%. But in saying it, the look this ballad was fine, but it was kind of a little bit forgettable to me.
hmm,
Like there was something like if I have a ballad and you have the pace changing, and I 100% agree that that's a fantastic way to that's kind of the right moment to be able to do it. But to me, like it didn't grab me and just go like like here's my soul and I'm bearing it to the world. It was just a little bit flat, and I don't know. Maybe I need to listen to it more. But I just find it was kind of like yeah, it's fine.
yeah, but I mean, it's not a power ballad, you know. It's a somber between heavy stuff to
Yeah,
you
I, I
know
I'm just
get
trying to think. Like I'm not
get you
sure
catch your breath
how
a little bit.
how long the track is. I
Yeah, they're
wonder.
all not very long. They range between like 6 and 9 minutes, I believe.
Yeah, this one. See, me, my enemy. I think was too long. It's 7 minutes, and I think maybe for me that's what it might have been. Like I think I'd chopped 2 minutes out of it.
Hmm.
But that, hey, this is me being a picky fool. Um, but look, as I said, it's not bad by any means. It just means it's a little bit like it's just the forgettable part of the track to me. sorry, that album.
Um, but if that was too slow and too soft and too wimpy,
I know where you're going. Good segue. How was The
then
Slave That You Are?
yeah, well, here you have the black metal roots, right?
Yeah,
Just opens up with a automatic machine gun, blast beats, very fucking hard. You played this before on you streamed this on I think what we listened to last month.
yeah, 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 that's right.
Uh, I, Usually I'm not a big black metal guy. However, it's funny when you played this, I thought, oh, this sounds like Vader, and it is also like one of the few black metal acts that I kind of enjoy when they go all out black metal. Um, yeah, what's your thought on this? Because this is also not your usual
No,
genre.
no, that's right. Look, I actually think it fuses like this old school feeling of like obviously your old school sort of black metal as well. It's not like contemporary black metal sounds. It's a little bit back. Um, and they did then this like weird spacey sounding like wavering synth in this track, which I absolutely loved. Like listen back for it and go hunting for that because
Hmm.
when I missed it on quite a few plays, but then I also missed the fact that the vocalist is not. I mean, the screamer, that's not the vocalist, right? That's a different
No,
dude. And so
that's
I
a
looked it
different
up,
dude,
and
and
it's the guy
he,
from Enslaved. I can't pronounce his
yeah,
name. Is it like Grutul Gelson or something?
yeah, that guy has a difficult name, Grutle Kjellson,
There you
I
go.
guess.
So
Grutle,
there's we
Grutle,
should we should
yeah,
clip that so you have like Josh's version and then Simon's version and then yeah we can offend everybody
Grottle.
who yeah but in Grotto I should have got him Grotto sorry but he's got like a pretty like that's a raspy ass scream right like it's pretty full on so I think I don't know this track was actually quite interesting for me there's parts that I really liked um, and again, like I'm not sold on it, but it's probably the right mix of heavy to light for me to be able to still enjoy the track without it detracting from it. So I think it was good. I think it's a strong track. But yeah, that like weird spacey wavering synth or whatever it is that sort of kicks in later in the track, I absolutely loved it. I thought it added so much to the track as well. So maybe check that one out. I need to re-listen to it again myself to know
No, I
exactly
think it's a
when
cool
it.
track.
Yeah.
I enjoy it 100%. I never feel like I want to turn this off because it's so harsh. I don't feel like that at all.
Mm.
And indeed, I very much appreciate when that happens, if it suits the theme, so to speak.
And
Um,
this definitely does.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And the theme here, like, so obviously, someone trying to put this
Do it. Do
puzzle
it.
together. So the, someone is trying to, I don't know, break habits or do something creative rather than destructive. I'm interpreting this as, and then it's like, no, we're bringing you down to putting you in your place. What is this talk of independence? You know, and actually, like with knowing what's the next track is, I kind of made my interpretation as this actually being someone who joins the military, but um, it because it's this easy conformist thing to do, I guess. Although it might just be a metaphor.
Mm.
But and that's where I'm a little bit struggling here. Like, what is a metaphor and what is actually it, or is it more of a actual storyline?
Mm.
Um,
Look, uh, it's look the overarching themes behind the album is definitely this idea of like having tragedy occur, then off the top of my head, you've kind of got the crisis that ensures on an internal level, right? Where you sort of end up feeling maybe responsible or like you're having like an existential crisis nearly like over the poor events that have gone on and wondering whether or not it's you specifically that have like contributed to that. I definitely don't quite have the like I got vibes of like it being family related. Like that's what I thought. But then again, that could be
Well,
because I've had
because
a
of the
death
first track, yeah, sure.
and
I
maybe
mean,
because of that too.
yeah.
But because of the death in the family, I thought maybe I've internalized this a little bit too. But so it definitely had some like some strong themes that I thought, for me, it just seemed like this real like soul searching sort of musical journey, where they're just working through that process. But look, I'd be super interested to find out if a dark poem is actually like a full story about somebody, and if there's like a storyline that's going on as well.
Yeah, I'm very curious about that as well. I mean, I guess there's a storyline, but I don't know how much of it is outside of a person's head. Because I indeed heard an interview with Kjetil when he was talking about how the next track, at least, the title track, so to speak, the
Yeah,
melancholy.
yeah, the Shores of Melancholia.
Exactly, which is, I think, like a melancholy metal anthem. I think that that's something that they're gonna have to play on every show. Um,
Yeah,
where,
yeah,
where, where I'm thinking like, then he's talking about uh, dead soldiers in the water, and like I interpret a little bit like dying on the battlefield. That's the theme, but he says that like it's not only about a war in the literal sense, but more of a war inside the head. But I wonder if it's not both because of like how that develops. Um, and yeah, it's so I kind of whether it's now pure a mental thing or actually a physical thing. I think the message here is about dying on the battlefield.
well, he
It's
definitely
under
talks of.
scarlet clouds. It's
I
like
was just,
Hamlet's Ophelia,
yeah.
insane, dead in the water. Yeah,
He mentions soldiers as well, if I remember correctly as
yeah,
well.
yeah. The
Yeah,
dead
like dead
soldiers
soldiers'
moment. Yeah,
bones. Yeah. So I think that that probably is the case, but again, like you said, it could be a metaphor too. But yeah, like look, I think this is obviously the standout track, isn't it? Like it is the track that for me the whole album is built around. I feel like everything else was kind of setting up for this one. Um,
yeah.
at least that's the impression that I got. I felt like the title track was definitely the.
I personally, my favorite is the opening track, "As Silence Took You."
Yeah, I think my favorite's probably yeah,
But it's a
like
strong
maybe
album. I don't think there's any weak tracks on
I
here.
think track one and two were definitely probably my favorites. But I
Mm.
think this one is kind of the culmination of everything nearly. Like I think it's a good name of the album, like, and I think that it's yeah, I think it's everything that's gone on previously in the album, this track covers. That's
Mm,
probably the way
mm.
to put it. Except for probably the beat. There's not that much. No, there's no screaming in this one at all, really, is there?
No, I think there's only on the
Yeah, it's
Stay
pretty
Vigil.
clean. So maybe with the exception of that, but in saying that, because it comes before this, I
You
probably
have a little bit like some um, like filled out a perverse embrace. I think that thing also echoes with the harsh vocals, if I can find it.
Winter is draining the life out of summer and hope turn asunder. The tale of the dead soldier's bones makes a beautiful ending. A perverse embrace, one final breath under.
So that I'm gonna guess that that also is the enslaved vocalist. Oh, you're muted.
I was going to say it definitely sounds like that. You're right. And it's at that
Yeah,
moment. I thought I had this feeling later on that it did like come back in small little bits. So there you go. So
yeah,
that makes sense. So I don't know. Like I really enjoyed the track. I thought it was good. I thought it sort of wrapped things up really well.
yeah.
The last track itself, I thought was good. I again like the pace increase. Like when they sped things up a little bit. I thought Look, I think my closing thoughts of this track was actually across the entire album, in that my favorite thing about it is when these guys decide to like just speed things up or mess things up or and so that's definitely the stronger part for me. I like the soundscape, I guess, but I think just that slower pacing of like the very deliberate, like sort of doom pacing of it was for me, it was not my favorite thing, and that's probably why I haven't spent a lot of time in the genre. Um, but because they played around with it, it meant that the timing changes were good. They were interesting. They were strong, and I thought this had enough diversity to keep me interested from start to finish as well. What did
Yeah,
you think of the
yeah.
last track? What have you got written down?
Like I said, I don't think there's any bad tracks on it. However, I think it might be the weakest for me, or I just need to hear that one more. Like maybe I have not, had to stop the album prematurely, and that I haven't heard the last track as many times as the other.
Did you catch that? Did you? I told you I got
Yeah,
thunderstorms outside.
shoo, whew, that's yeah. I thought it was like, oh, is there a bonus track that I'm still
Boom!
sharing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh dear.
Um,
Okay.
yeah.
Um, yeah, no, and but I mean, because it's also the longest song with 9 minutes something. Like my favorite part of it, I think it's like 4 minutes in, you have a folky, heavy riff, that is a little bit Scandinavian folk music, I think that is my favorite part of the track.
To me, it had
Like,
this like anthemic quality as well. Like it was
mhm,
very much like kind of like dun 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 at some stage,
yeah,
which I
yeah.
thought was quite cool, and it lifted. So
Dun,
that,
dun, 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 dun.
yeah,
Yeah,
you know what I
exactly.
mean,
I'm
right?
I'm also not nailing the notes there. Should
I don't
should we
know. That
give
wasn't
a
too bad. That wasn't too bad. I think I got it. I think it
yeah?
was.
I'm sure you got it good. I'm just missing the note.
Hey, I'm not the musician here.
Let's go to
Yeah.
to the pause. That's what you mean, right?
Yeah, 100%. That's what I meant. It had
Yeah,
this
yeah,
like this quality where everything sort of lifted behind that sort of riff, which I really loved. So,
yeah.
I'm so look, I'm so proud of myself for knowing exactly what you were talking about, like at that point. So that's cool. But
No, yeah,
look,
no, that's absolutely anthemic riff. Yeah,
that's right. That's what I thought. But
yeah.
this, like you said, this is a strong album. Like let's sort of start to sum it up. Look, for everyone who's listening at home and who's still with us somehow, like thanks for dealing with our meandering a little bit. But in saying that, like this is a strong album.
Yeah,
It's a good album, and not just that. I think it's something that I really enjoyed. It had lyrics that really spoke to me at times. I thought it was like sort of really well thought out. I thought for maybe a sort of genre that I'm not so sure about, this really, really like sort of made me go, oh, there's something in this. There's definitely something in this too. And so, I've had two strong sort of doom albums that I've listened to this year. The first one was The Old Dead Tree, and this one was and Green Carnation is the next artist as well. And so those have really stood out to me, going like, oh, it's got something in it. The Old Dead Tree was a little bit faster paced, so maybe it's a bit more my style for that sound. But this one was good. Like I thought it was really
that
good.
one, the older tree was also released this year.
Technically last year, but I listened to it at the beginning of this year.
Yeah,
So
okay, yeah,
yeah. Um, but not that it's not super similar, but they definitely have doom roots, and they have a few sort of sounds and the similar sort of riff guitars and stuff that are definitely have some similarities there. So I don't know. This is a good one. I'd give this a definitely listen to sort of rating.
I would say that unless we got some crazy releases in December, this one is gonna pop up in the top 10 albums of the year when we
Yeah,
sum that
I'm
up.
I'm definitely erring towards like it's definitely in the special mentions if it's not in the top 10.
Yeah.
And it probably might be in the top 10 as well. I want to give it a few more plays before I make my mind up. But in
You
saying that,
plays.
it's pardon.
You and your plays.
I have to do it. Look
It's
for
fine.
those
It's
that
fine. I'm
no
not
no no.
judging.
It's totally okay because the other thing is like as with all due respect to all the other people that are out there that are professional reviewers and listeners, to me, I sometimes ask the question like, have you really listened to this enough?
Oh, I'm sure you're right, but it's just that I usually come to a point where, because I mean I also am more of that I'm kind of listener. Like I don't stick around with an album for a shitload of plays before I go to a new one. Um, that said, I often think like, okay, I want to spend more time with this album. Also, for example, it's just that I'm
There's
going to
so much out
prioritize
there.
listening to other stuff as well.
Yeah,
And and kind of like the feeling that if I go back to it, there's still gonna be more stuff to discover.
yeah. I
And to be honest, like it's so arbitrary with uh, a reviewing of an album. It's it can never be done objectively or something like that. So you just have to go with a you know snapshot uh, of
yeah, that's
your
right.
thoughts at the moment anyway.
I
If I
was
play
gonna
it too
say.
much, it's gonna get a lower rating because I'm get tired of it. So
The
yeah.
other thing too with you is you tend to pick up on very different things to what I do on a first listen, and maybe it's your musical background too. So I wouldn't be surprised if just this little processor is just a little bit slower than that one. You've got the the Snapdragon processor over there, and I'm still stuck in the Nokia 3310 like territory. I'm still in the 8-bit sound
I'm
world.
going at 45 RPMs and you 33.
Something like that. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe I'm a bit slower too, but I don't know. I think how long it takes
I
to
made a
kill.
joke. You saw that I made a joke on Marius Duda's Instagram,
I
going,
I
"I'm
saw,
gonna listen to this on the on
I
top
saw
of
he
speed."
liked it as well.
Yeah,
He
yeah, I thought
liked
it was
that.
funny.
Yeah. So you guys should go and looking through Simon's comments on Instagram and see if you can find it. If you do like his comment, that'll show you're a real Time Zones and Time Meters fan. So any, anyway, but the look, I enjoyed the album. I thought it was good. I can't wait to find out what our top hits are actually of the year, which we'll be doing. We're going to do two, everyone. Like you hear it from us right now, both Simon and I. We're going to be doing like two of these. So we'll do the what we think is the best of 2025 like as we get close to the end of this year, and then 6 months later we're going to be like what really was the best of 2025 because I find that I discover the best music in January and February of every year because of everyone else's opinions on like what the best of is. So I like to
Yeah,
do a reflection too, so we're going to do
yeah.
that for
We'll
sure,
do
and I would not
do
be
a thing.
surprised if this features on it.
Right.
That's probably a good way to close, don't you think?
I think it's a good way to close. Yeah, and now I'm just gonna be rambling and being slow unless you round it up.
All right. Thank you, everybody out there who have sat with us through this episode. I really appreciate your comments, of course. We'd love to see what you guys thought at home of it. Please hit us up on Instagram if you are wanting to, talk to us about this or have a go at our style of rambling on YouTube. Anyway, peace out. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you guys next week. I'm really looking forward to it. Until then, rock on and bye.